Welcome back to Culture Pools, everyone. Marko is the co-founder of Finnish Gaming Experts.
I'd say you truly felt it was in the air that people are respected.
Yeah, sounds like it, but that would be fun. Welcome back to Culture Pools, everyone. Today, I'm joined by someone who's bringing a very fresh perspective to the iGaming space. Marko Arpiainen. I've been learning your name this morning. I hope I got it right.
Almost there.
Almost, okay. Marko is the co-founder of Finnish Gaming Experts, a marketing and PR agency that's helping companies launch and grow in the newly regulated Finnish iGaming market. Marko has a strong background in brand strategy, communications, and strategic partnerships. What makes this episode even more exciting is that Finnish Gaming Experts and Magic Mondays recently decided to join forces, combining the strengths of our agencies. He's on the marketing and branding side and ours at Magic Mondays on the talent and people sides. This collaboration was sparked by something deeper than just a business opportunity. And I'll let Marko explain how it all came together a little bit farther down the line. But before we get there, well, first of all, welcome to Culture Pulse. Super happy to have you. Could you tell us a little bit more about you? Who are you? What do you do?
Well, first, thank you for having me, and you made everything sound so great. Now I'm nervous. So, originally I was supposed to be a math teacher, and before gaming, I was something from different things from McDonald's to techno thing and manager for Techno DJ. And although I'm super patriotic, and proud Finnish, I've lived in Spain, Serbia, Malta, and now in Estonia. And in gaming, I've been almost 10 years working across both online and land-based casinos and roles in brand marketing and growth. Although you made it sound so much fancier, thank you.
You are very welcome.
And on top of leading the Finnish market, I've been involved everything from content marketing to loyalty, brand, rebrand, sponsorships, poker festivals. But although it sounds a lot, it is a lot. But my favorite part of it all is the mentoring and seeing the people reach their true potential. And about Finnish gaming experts, so a few months ago, my three fellow partners and I opened Finnish Gaming Experts. And we aim to be that one-stop shop for all gaming companies who wants to grow and be the best of the best in Finland. And we offer marketing support, media buying, a bunch of other stuff. And thanks to our amazing partnerships like one with you guys, Magic Mondays, we can connect our clients with everything what they need, whether it is the best legal advice to obviously hiring the best talent.
Yes. So, what kind of excites you the most about the changes happening in the Finnish iGaming market right now?
Well, I'm such an iGaming geek, so everything. Change is always, I welcome the change with open arms, but now that it's Finnish market, it's even works. It feels like big Christmas. And I'm personally happy that our lawmakers took this step. And although they might not hear me, but I thank them for all this great work they've been doing. And the reform will bring great opportunities, not just for operators, but elsewhere. As I'm expecting that this art competition will bring amazing innovation everywhere. And I'm happy that now, of course, I hope that as much as possible, as many as possible operators will apply for the license and finally get it. But then everyone will finally play with same rules. So it's beneficial also to protect these harmful gamblers. at the end of
Mhm.
the day.
Yeah. So how our collaboration came together? I mentioned in the intro that it was not only a business decision. Wondering what's your perspective on that?
So I have seen you guys in action for many, many years. Uh, I've been hiring talent through you guys. I have landed on 2 jobs through you guys. So it was 1,000% no brainer. And Massive Mondays, I think I never told you this, but Massive Mondays has always been my favorite recruitment agency.
Thanks you. That obviously makes me very happy to hear. Um, but was there like anything else that you guys thought? I'm sure that you had conversations with multiple potential partners. I mean, the market will be booming. So many things happening. So just wondering if there was like anything else that kind of came to your mind on top of like kind of the iGaming knowledge and the experience we already had together.
So yes, I think I can speak for all of our partners that we want to work with people who inspire us, especially me, because I always want to learn. And I personally am so inspired by you and Emmy, the co-founder,
Yeah.
because the way you have made all these waves in the industry is really deserves applause. So high five for you guys. So it's not just for business; it's shared values and mutual respect.
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes straight back at you. Of course, as half of our founding team is Finnish too, and I was so excited when Emmy told me about the changes in the Finnish market, and obviously when we knew we can come on board with one of the companies, I thought it would be great to do it with you guys just because of the shared values. I know you care about the culture, you care about diversity and inclusion, something we're gonna touch upon later in this episode as well. So I think that's just speaking of building like business relationships, it's just so important to not only kind of have this business goal but also something bigger that connects you, because we can start off and build stronger teams together. Which I'm super excited about. So I thought for this episode, obviously we did a little bit of an intro, so whoever is listening has a better understanding why we're here. But I definitely want to talk more about the values that kind of initially sparked the conversation to even work together. So diversity and inclusion and building cultures, and then obviously touch upon the Finnish market a little bit, because you are someone who is um, obviously an expert when it comes to building teams in Finland too, or at least like understanding the working culture. So I think it will be interesting for people who are maybe potentially looking to grow their teams in Finland in the future to kind of hear your perspective on that. So let's maybe uh, let's dive in and start with the diversity and inclusion part in the iGaming industry. So, um, what does diversity actually look like in the iGaming industry today? From leadership teams to day-to-day operations. I know this can be a tricky and full-on question as the first one to come, but I'm sure you have uh, a good overview of the situation there.
Yes, you're starting very, very strong. So good. Well, I generally say that we are in an industry where your talent matters, not just your sex, color of your skin, sexuality, and so on. And I might be biased here um, in this topic, as I've been lucky enough to be working with very strong female CMO and leaders. So huge shout out to Heather, Ashmi, and Lena here, little plug here. And generally, I would se- love to see a day where we don't even need to talk about diversity. Just hire the top talent And is this so-called diverse people phase, there's no you're just diverse to be higher or use their sexuality against them and so on. I think I'm quite progressive in this and hopeful in this matter.
Yes. So, from your perspective, how have the companies that you work with before made some progress on on inclusion, and have they, or do you feel like it's still like very often surface level?
I'd say there's definitely been a real progress. However, I've been in situations where inclusion is just a desperate move to look hip on LinkedIn while sweeping harassment and discrimination under the rug. And for me, inclusion is not just about hiring diverse teams. It's about including your staff, how you listen to them, and not just inviting them in. Just make sure they belong there. And I think this is where the work still needs to be done. And I want the leaders walk the walk. And if there's in case there's any talk to talk, and just show up.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, it's tricky because many companies feel like, oh, okay, we're just gonna do 50-50. We're gonna make sure we're gonna hire 50% women, and that's gonna cover it. And I just think that's exactly the surface level. You should hire for talent and for skills. And of course, ideally, just don't think about the other things in the background when you're doing it. That's how I feel like genuinely inclusive teams um, come around once you start just really emphasizing the gender in the hiring. I just don't believe that specifically solves the issue. Maybe that even adds more to the diversity, because I don't like, say, when we speak about female leaders, like we should speak about good leaders or bad leaders. We never say men leaders, so like I think those things and the terminology that is used until this day is not necessarily up to date with how companies should approach diversity and inclusion, and like the topics that kind of should be discussed. It's not that easy to just go down to, okay, let's hire 50% of women and just speak about women in tech or iGaming. I don't think that's kind of like the angle that we should be taking when we talk about it.
Yes, I agree. And like I said, I really, really want to see the day when we don't have to talk about this.
Yes. So hopefully,
That we are still here.
we are still there. So what do you think? What can companies do to create an inclusive environment? And let's just focus on the Finnish market. I think in general, Finland is quite a balanced working culture with flat organizational structure. Just wondering what can companies specifically entering the Finnish market do um, to just be more inclusive?
I'd say start from hiring the local voices early on and make sure that the values, external, internal values, are not just on paper and they are on how you lead, how you pay, and how you deal with challenges when no one is watching.
Mhm.
And it's a good beginning.
Yes. So, is there like any advice that you could give to companies that would want to avoid the tokenism or surface level inclusion, and instead build teams where people actually feel like they belong?
I'd say start with respect. Treat people fairly. Don't let the bad apples spoil the whole tree. Just deal with it. Whatever you need to do, deal with it. And I believe that the culture is built by what you tolerate, and what you protect, what you choose to tolerate.
Interesting. So let's zoom on Finland then. Okay. So, what are some common mistakes international companies make when they try to import culture into a market like Finland?
I'd say the one huge mistake is assuming that what works elsewhere will work in Finland. As an example, when Finnish work culture generally values flat organization, autonomy, and being direct, just blunt, in good and bad. And micromanagement and bus-heavy culture just doesn't land here the same way.
Yeah.
And I'd say we just want to do our work, do it well, not focus on emails that can be, sorry, not just focus on meetings that can be emails and empty thoughts. I make it sound very simple, but for me it is.
Yes, I think my experience working with Finland and Finnish people is also that, if you're a company coming into Finland, uh, you might not fully understand also the work-life balance thing. I think Finnish people are very efficient in how they work, but then they also want like be efficient in the way they spend their time off. I think even me and Emmy, we had those conversations early in the business when I grew up in Poland and Germany. So the culture is kind of like you need to be on your laptop, you need to be the hard worker. Doesn't matter if you have much to do, you just need to be there to show that you're gonna be working, Otherwise you're not a good employee. I think in Finland it's more like you just need to get things done and then you're off. And then, and I think it's also important to understand for the leadership coming into the Finnish market that the work will be done and you can trust your people, but maybe it's not the best idea to call them at 8 or 9 p.m. in the evening.
Yes, because the phone is off.
Yeah, you don't gotta reach them anyways. But yeah, I think I learned a lot coming from like the Polish German setup first to the Swedish company, then to co-founding a company with a Finnish person who had a very different working style. Not better, not worse, just very different. So I think it's always interesting, and I think the most important thing, because he said, the trust is earned. Leaders need to kind of set the example, but then they also need to understand how people work and what's the approach to to kind of get there. So what would you say? So you already touched upon the leadership a little bit. What do international leaders need to understand when they expand to Finland beyond just the legal compliance things that obviously they will be dealing with before they even start the operations in Finland?
Definitely leave the micromanagement somewhere else. It doesn't belong here. And remember that the respect is earned, not demanded, because this is, I think, very, very cultural characteristic. And leadership is also about listening, not just barking orders. And like you mentioned, this work-life balance, we are very vocal about this. Um, Thanks to our great ancestors who fought the fight for us under the occasions, but respect that. Uh,
Yeah.
I mix respect all the time, but like it's everything.
Mm. And I do think that the respect part, that's very crucial, and some like many people don't maybe not fully understand what that means, because in many cultures, some of the cultures I also have experience with, if someone is the boss, the manager, the leader, automatically, that's the person with the authority. I don't think it works like that in Finland. I think due to everyone being pretty much equal, it really takes some time to earn that respect, and you're not gonna do it if you micromanage, if you don't kind of respect the local culture. And So I think that's just something that culturally people need to be aware of. And if they're not able to do it, then maybe this is not the best market to enter, because they might be maybe struggling with retention. You might attract talent when you have a great brand and a pool company, a new niche, and new industries coming into Finland. It might first sound appealing, but if you're not gonna um, kind of follow all the things that we have discussed, you might struggle with the retention. What role does leadership play in setting the cultural tone in a company's early days in a new market?
Well, before answering that, I would love to point out that although we know our rights and it sounds like they are very difficult ones, it's not like that. Um, Generally, very hardworking. We just want to do the work. That's it. And about this topic, um, it's everything. And in my opinion, people are very loyal to the core when they feel trusted and supported. So creating that fair, transparent atmosphere from day one will ensure your Finnish team is there to fight the world for you.
Yeah.
And then you can just be happy.
Yeah, and like my experience is definitely what you said about Finnish people being hardworking. I said that I used the word efficient. I don't like to use the hardworking word because it reminds me on what that meant to me in the past. That hardworking meant just sitting at the computer until the lights go off instead of getting things done. And I learned that the hard way. That's, you can completely shift your perspective with good prioritizing and just getting things done mindset. So that's definitely something that's super important. And I've seen many examples of that working with Finns over the years. But then also kind of like Finnish people being very, very loyal. Once you earn that respect and if you have a good dynamic, I think that's also something that stands out, at least to me, being from an outside culture. So moving on to the next one, still kind of sitting in that Finnish bubble. How can Finnish values like transparency, what you just mentioned, equality, work-life balance, help shape more human first workplace in iGaming? So I guess the question is, to simplify it, how can we use all the positive values that Finns bring to the table to optimize iGaming workplaces?
Well, I say uh, it would create the foundation where people truly feel safe, heard, and empowered. And in competitive industry like ours, gaming, it's not just nice to have, but it's an advantage because these people will fight for you. And I'm happy to have been able to see this personally in good and bad. And I think we can all guess which company was more successful. So it's like a real life example.
Yeah, so just like because I know you've been working for one company in iGaming that has had a very strong culture and a very positive one and very visible. What do you think they did right compared to maybe some other businesses that you had experience with? Like, why did you think this one company was so much better than the others?
I'd say you truly felt it was in the air that people are respected, they are paid more than competitors. So you keep the talent, they are valued, and you could go to any C-level person to voice your opinion, and they listened. And in challenging times, they stood what is right and wrong.
Mm.
And even the HQ address, at least back then, was Unicorn Center. So there was a lot of talk, but they also made sure that they walk the walk. It wasn't they promises. And this company is Kasumo, and I'm forever grateful to have been able to be there.
Yes, I think that's the thing that when it comes to culture, and I've been speaking about it to a couple of guests on the podcast already, that it's not, the things you hang on the wall. Like if it's real, genuine, then you just feel it. Like then it comes also from the people that you hire. It doesn't always come down from the leaders to the team, but it can also be just created in your teams. But definitely very challenging to achieve it and to have everyone happy and motivated. Especially what I see in iGaming over the years is that so many companies um, go through change, and when those companies go through change, it's hard for people to adapt, and it's sometimes hard to keep keep the same culture. Or maybe it's not even important to keep the same culture, but keep the same values, and because the culture will evolve as the team grows, of course. But I think Kasumo has always been. I haven't been living in Malta for a couple of good years already, but I remember from the times when I did, that was always one of those top companies that when you speak culture in iGaming, you taught Kasumo. So they definitely did a whole bunch of things right there. So speaking more on your experience in the industry, I wonder, have there been moments where being openly yourself felt a little bit like a challenge, or has have you always had that casino experience everywhere you worked?
Unfortunately, not just in the gaming, but especially in gaming, there's been one sad case is like open direct bullying. First 15 minutes just trash talking me and my sexuality. Um, and the way I chose to deal with it was to simply stay quiet, make them feel uncomfortable, and then we could move on. Because I was like, I'm now ready to work. Because I'd have more time and not giving the reaction. And what pains me the most is I chose to take it further, and the response that I got from HR was, "That's just how it is. It's very little old school," and I chose to do it, so no one else had to go through that. But this is a painful reminder of how far we still have to go. Um, and this ties to my previous points that if you have certain values, protect them.
Mm.
Uh, that's one. I haven't had any other
Mm.
nasty experiences by being openly myself.
Yeah, that one is quite a big one, though. And I've been thinking about those things in the past because we had a couple of examples of similar behavior over the years. Also during hiring process, some certain requirements uh, um, that we're being asked for that are not fully like aligned with, what we stand for. So I just wonder, like, say in your particular case, what could have that company uh, do to avoid those situations in the future? Or is there like a way that they could have prevented that from happening before? Just wondering from your perspective.
I would say in uh, this specific example, I get it that there's so many people who thinks they might never met a gay person before, and there might be that old way of thinking, and for me, I don't mind. It's crazy say this, but like I didn't mind that situation too much, and I don't wish anything bad for those people. I would just want some kind of honest talk with them that w- this cannot happen ever again, and even a simple question to have like honest back and forth, like what do you think this Marko's sexuality has to do with this? Do you think it makes him do his work worse, or how is type? And I like honest conversations. Just tackle it head on. I say.
I just wonder if there's anything that companies could do to educate. And like it just seems like such an obvious thing. So I feel, I used to work in HR 7 years ago before we started Magic Mondays. And it would, to be completely honest with you, for me, it's such an obvious thing that I would probably not think that, oh, maybe we should have some diversity and inclusion workshops, or maybe we should have like a team get together and speak about our experiences or bring someone in to talk about it. I just never thought it would be needed because it's just such an obvious thing, and we work in such a modern, international, diverse industry, so you feel like everyone is on the same page. Um so I just wonder if there's anything in your opinions the companies could do to educate people in a better way.
I don't think it should like it needs to become like this humongous thing course every week. Um, However, at Kasumo, we had one great course where it wasn't about diversity per se. It was these situations where you might not listen to someone because you don't like him or her, although there's a valid point. And I think even this course would help because that makes people think. Because, I don't want to listen to him because he stole my coffee yesterday or something like this. Or I had beef with that person or something like this. So I think this, it's a shame that I don't remember this course's name, but it gave me good insight.
Mm. Yeah,
And it never hurts to take a course of you.
yeah. Just keep an open conversation, I guess.
Yes,
Mm.
definitely.
So what would you say to someone who feels like they don't fit the mold of the typical leader in iGaming?
Well, for this person, I would say, trust me, I get it. I've been in tough leadership positions, and like if this was not silencing position case that I told you before, but I just say let your work speak for itself and treat your staff well, and there's no single mold for leadership, or there shouldn't be. And it sounds again very Finnish, very short and sweet, but for me it makes sense.
It does, yes. And sometimes, you don't need like long elaborated answers. We can say one sentence and it gets people thinking.
Yes, I think this whole podcast is about showing Finnish work life in true, like it's like very sorry.
Straight to the point. We're gonna have good, like, short, sharp quotes, which is very good because usually I'm talking for hours. So it's good to have short quotes from the podcast. So we can remember some of the key thoughts that you had. So wrapping up slowly, I thought we can talk a little bit more about the future and what's coming. And I wanted to ask you, what's your vision for how the iGaming industry could evolve over the next few years? Obviously, we're still speaking about Finland.
Yes, my favorite topic. Well, I hope that the regulator will would work together with operators instead of against them, and create an environment where these operators will have a chance to acquire and retain their players, not just putting a lot of hurdles against them, and by there making sure that people go to illegal operators then. And of course, tough sanctions for those who break the law, not just slap on the wrist and be like, oh, you shouldn't do this. And my optimistic vision is to see the channelization rate over 90%. I might be very optimistic.
Yeah, sounds like it, but that would be fun. So, what is it that you guys are now working on while preparing for all the changes?
So one thing that surprised us all is that there's been, of course, a lot of interest, not just from operators, but companies related to them. And we are making these very thought-through partnerships, like with Magic Mondays, for us to put where our money is in the future. And if you guys follow our LinkedIn page, Finnish Gaming Experts, you will see this. There's good stuff happening.
Yes, many exciting projects coming up already now. And I think, there is still some time until the market will actually start booming and the companies will start growing and hiring and it all becomes real. I think it's still the entry stage now.
Yes.
Yes, and speaking of Finnish Gaming Experts, I will of course link all the details below. So if any companies are looking for a partner to expand in Finland, then Marko and his team are definitely the best guys to call, especially now since they still might have some time, because I know you guys are getting extremely busy as well.
Well, little bit, yes.
All right. Well, I think that's a good wrap. Thank you so much, Marko. It was great having you. I'm excited to see where this collaboration is going to take us, and maybe we can have another conversation in a year and see if all your predictions came true.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for giving me this. This was my first podcast.
Great. You did great.
I'm still nervous, but thank you so much.
I'm sorry for you feeling nervous, but hopefully it's gonna go away now. All right. Thanks, Marko. Thanks for joining me on Culture Pulse, the heartbeat of your workplace. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and found some insights to take back to your team. Don't forget to subscribe for more discussions, and for all the latest updates on the podcast, follow Magic Mondays Miami on LinkedIn. See you next time!